Tom back here with Rocket Restorations. One thing I thought we'd do is do a little tour of the shop. What we're gonna do is our shipping room and where we hang signs and license plates. And it's a total complete mess, so please forgive the mess, but there's a lot of cool stuff in here. All right, I'll start with the hallway. So my office is behind that door. We'll do my office one of these days. One thing we collect around here is license plates. We have a lot of early Washington plates. The green and white ones are 62 and before, and then Washington went to white in 63, where it says Wash 63. We also collect license plate frames. We put them on all of our cars. One thing we really collect too is signs. This Valiant sign's kind of cool. We found it in an old closed down dealer in North Dakota. It was under their scrap pile. They had a big barn that was off their property, and we go in there and we found a bunch of cardboard on under a bunch of scrap metal that they've been throwing on there forever, and it was still brand new in the box. They never hung it up. One of these days I'll get it hung up. I haven't even got the dust off it yet. All right, more license plates and frames. So it goes to Mopar up there, then we kind of have everything else. Obviously we're Mopar people, so that's the majority of what we have. In that hole right there, I've got a Rambler neon sign we need to get hung up one of these days. Really collect signs. If you guys have any signs for sale, we're always looking for stuff. So this is what I call the porcelain wall. So that's a real early Chrysler sign on the left. I think that's 20s. The OK sign, I know it's Chevy. It'll be okay. I swear. But that was a really nice sign I got out of California. The DeSoto Plymouth Porcelain, Chrysler Plymouth Porcelain, and then a Valiant. The Valiant came off the Zumwalt Plymouth Chrysler in Petaluma, California. Got it from a buddy of mine. The Vico motor oils are kind of a cool one. That came out of California. A buddy of mine had that for years. They were a very small gas and oil dealer out of Utah. So I think they kind of went into Utah and maybe kind of leaked into Nevada a little bit, but that's a really rare sign. I've only seen a couple other ones. The tobacco sign's kind of cool. One thing we do is we try to go through old dealerships trying to find old signs and parts and records and stuff. That Model tobacco sign was up in the attic of an old dealer. There was like this little kind of hidey hole up in the attic. They had a bunch of NOS trim up there, and it was like this real small hole. And I said, I'm going in there. I'm gonna check it out. It's a little scary, but it was like an old drinking place for kids. It was really cool. There was like a bunch of old bottle caps from the 50s up there, and I could see the sign on the floor, but there was so much dust I couldn't tell what it was. But I could kind of see the outline like raised up in the dust. And I picked it up and instantly knew it was a porcelain sign. So it came home with me. It's not a real high value sign, but it's kind of cool. Red hook neon, gotta have a couple neons. This is what we call a box mountain here. We do a lot of sales on eBay, a lot of parts, a lot of shipping. So you gotta have a lot of boxes to do it. I know it looks like chaos, but we know where most of the stuff is there. The stuff over here is our eBay shelves. So all this stuff is stuff that we have listed on eBay right now. It's fairly well organized over here. NOS parts and used parts. Can't keep everything. We always got leftover parts we got to sell. A couple 69 GTX grills there in various conditions. So most of the stuff in the middle here is from our last trip. So we went to the Midwest and stopped by like 10, 15 old dealers out there, and we found some really neat stuff. We've just kind of started going through these boxes. That's an NOS Redline dog dish hubcap. That's a pretty rare piece. It's probably going to go on my 72 Polara, to be honest with you. But these are just full of NOS parts. So we went to the Minnesota show, Mopars in the Park, and near the Twin Cities in Stillwater. Most of this stuff was NOS stuff that came out of the Minnesota Parts Depot. The guy we got this from, his buddy, worked there, and Chrysler dealers would return parts to the depot, and then he would just take them home because they couldn't resell them. There's some neat stuff in here. Shifter plates, fan motors, yokes. But every box here is filled with that kind of stuff. There's a sending unit. I'm not sure what it fits. A lot of like switches. Here's some old Mopar boxes, which are kind of neat. That's a vacuum advance or something. 294 is a good number. That means 69, so it's out of something good. Although it's probably slant 6 or something. Molding. You can pretty much tell by the box kind of what era it came from. Now that's like 55, 56. You can tell by the part number too. This switch has a CH on it, which means it's kind of the over-the-counter later replacing part. Well, that's neat. That is a oil pressure switch if you have a gauge. That's really cool. See, I didn't even know this stuff was here. Maybe I'll just do a video going through some of these NOS parts. That's dated 10 of 70. Wow, that's a good piece. We're doing a Daytona in the shop right now, and it's a little bit late for that car, but the condition isn't perfect, but it's pretty nice. But yeah, a lot of that kind of stuff. Have an old rack here, like an old oil rack we found in Iowa or something. But it's pretty cool. Mopar rack. We didn't put it back together and get it up. LD4B intake. A lot of this stuff is just old inventory on the shelves. It's stuff we've had forever, and I need to figure out where to get rid of it. That box is kind of neat. That long box there, that's actually a 1971 72 Duster shark tooth grill. NOS in the box. That's a real neat piece. We're going to be selling that pretty soon. There's a few shows going up. That big box there is a 72 to 4 CUDA NOS grill. It's kind of a neat old Cadillac clock we got out of an estate sale. It's an old cool can for racing. Water went through there. A-body console. It's a 50 Plymouth NOS grill. This is the pile of trim we got at the last couple dealers. I don't even know what's there. Most of those bins are over there from last year. Some Colt signs. It's kind of hard to see because I blocked it with bins, but the special service tools, that's cool. That came out of Port Angeles, Murray Motors. They were a bankruptcy dealer in 09. Fortunately, Chrysler shut down a lot of the good small dealers around the country when they went through the bankruptcy. That was in the attic of Murray Motors. It was like black with soot when we got it, so we cleaned it all up and got all the tools up. It's probably 30s would be my guess, looking at some of the tools and the tool numbers. We collect old tools too. I love that stuff. A couple Colt signs. Some knocking stuff over. It's a little full in here. We got boxes to ship stuff. Always got to have boxes. That's a 60 Chrysler NOS grill. NOS truck steering wheel. This is kind of our eBay table here. This is where we take pictures. That's a downdraft tube for like 61 and before. 73 Chrysler. NOS bumper filler. That's going to go up on eBay pretty soon here. Those cabinets over there, the index file cabinet's kind of cool. That came out of SL Savage. They were like the performance dealer in Seattle. All the index cards are still in there from the dealer. It's mostly like 73 and up, but still cool stuff. NOS 70 dirt grill. A lot of carburetors. That's kind of our license plate sorting rack. I collect these a lot with my brother, and we decided we're only going to redo it once a year. So about November, December, we'll go through and put up all the new plates we bought over the year, which is usually a lot. Most of the bins over here came out of a big estate sale. There's some neat stuff up here. I got some signage stuff up here too. Yokohama tires. That's an old sign. That's like Iacocca era. That's an old parts clock. Some more old signs. These are cool. They're like psychedelic used car signs from the 70s. I got a couple of them up in the shop over there. That's a 5-star sign. And then we also carry reproduction parts. We carry a few different vendors and stuff that's on eBay, but it's also stuff we use in the restoration shop all the time. It's nice having this stuff on the shelf. Because unfortunately, the reality is the parts stores don't carry these parts anymore, and it usually takes a week to get anything. So if you're trying to finish a car and you don't have the part, you're kind of up a creek. As I said, it's kind of a mess in here, but there's lots of good stuff. One of these days I'll organize this. It's a Dodge Stratus neon sign. As I said, got really into signs. And we got a whole attic up there too. A lot of NOS stuff and signs up there. Maybe the next video I'll show you the attic. All right, this is kind of what we call the Rocket Restoration shipping room, where we hang all of our plates, a lot of our inventory that goes on eBay, a lot of stuff we still have to sort for cars, the porcelain sign wall, and pedal car. All right, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to our channel. We've got lots more stuff coming.